right, this is about John Rayford Faulkner, born September the 30th, 1883, in La Ferrie, Georgia, and he died December the 3rd, 1966, Fort Worth, Texas, in Birdville area. His father was Henry Franklin Faulkner. His mother was Sally O. J. And there were several kids: Serena Johnson Potts, Virginia Irene Faulkner, Wiley Ray Faulkner, Catherine Potts Faulkner, and Sarah Maggie Faulkner were the kids. Now we're going to discuss a little bit about John Rayford and possibly some of his brothers and sisters. So let's start off with John Rayford.
If Wiley Ray Hodges, born in 1926. My mother was Virginia Irene Faulkner, married to Hodges. My father, H.W. Hodges. They went to school, both of them at Watauga School, and married. Now, they lived right west of Watauga. Rayford Faulkner was married to my grandmother, Serena Johnson Potts. And one of the farms of Wiley Wilder Potts, John Rayford Faulkner started sharecropping it. And they had a nice house they built in big barns. John Rayford bought another farm of 160 acres over by there, and another 60 acres. They was really going along good. He was accustomed, along his farm, he had a custom business of harvesting wheat and oats with his thrashing machine, a McCormick Darren thrashing machine. It was pulled by a Rumley engine, old steel engine. And he did from farm to farm and made some money along there. I don't know when he quit. While they were there at the Watauga, it was a place that I knew there. They didn't have electricity, they had running water. So he then put in a system for electricity they called Delco. He had a little building out there and had a lot of glass batteries. They had a little engine that ran it off of gasoline or coal, and it put, kept the batteries charged. The wires went into the house, and they had lights. That's about the only thing. My mother, his daughter, Irene Faulkner Hodges, we lived on one of Wiley W. Potts's farms, 480 acres, north and west of Watauga. It's now on Beach Street, north of Fort Worth. Had 480 acres. My mother and my daddy, they sharecropped that and had some pasture land, and Grandpa Faulkner ran cattle on the 100 or something, or 200 acres. He retained that. Grandpa Faulkner and them, before the Depression, was doing pretty good, so they decided to retire to Fort Worth. They moved. They had a nice house built in the Riverside area of Goldenrod Street in Balsam, somewhere in there, and they lived there. And and he had people running his farm. Couples lived there. The Depression hit. He had to draw his horns in. They sold that house and went back to the farm, and they ran the farm, etc. Now, my mother, Virgie Irene, born in 1905, she had a stillborn child. She had me. They adopted a boy named Marshall and later named him. He had epilepsy. They had to put him in a state hospital. And then she had twins, Teddy and Eddie Hodges. In 1935, the twins were, I think, 18 months old, and she became ill with an infection and died at the Harris Hospital in Fort Worth. Then the Depression was on. Dad had to sell the farm. We couldn't have nobody take care of me. Eddie, the twin brothers, Teddy and Eddie Dwayne, we went to the Faulkners, J.R. Faulkner and his wife, her grandmother Faulkner, and we lived there. Dad moved to Fort Worth with his at his mother's too. He could find work, hard work during Depression. The boy, Teddy, had took spinal meningitis one night there at 18 months old. And we called Dr. T.C. Colley out of Keller. He came down. He said it was spinal meningitis. The boy was just terrible. He'd passed away in just a few hours, buried in the Birdville Cemetery. We had to take shots for inoculations for that disease. Shortly after that, my daddy, Herman Walter Hodges, came to the Faulkners and took Eddie, Dwayne, the surviving twin, and me, Wiley Ray Hodges, to the north side, rented the building, and then from there on, we did not live with the Faulkners. My dad took care of Eddie and I, various places, everywhere, till we married and left. But the Faulkners then downsized after the Depression. They sold what area they had after they inherited it from the Wiley W. Potts estate. The Wiley W. Potts estate had 3 daughters, and each one of them got certain amounts of money, and they had to downsize. So they sold their farmlands and stuff near Watauga and went to Argyle, Texas, north up there on 377, and they bought something like 200 acres west of Argyle. They moved up there for several years. Eddie and I would go down to the railroad, and we would pay 50 cents, and the train would take us and stop in Argyle and let my brother and I off, and we would walk to the farm, which is 1 mile west. They had woods that we could hunt in. I would take my .22 Stevens rifle with me on the train with my clothes, and the train would stop and let us 2 off there at the station at a crossing. That was kind of memorable. So we hunted up there. We stayed up there on weekends, etc. So that was my association with the Faulkners. Now then, while I was up there, Granddaddy Faulkner was addicted to tobacco. He loved chewing tobacco, Tinsley White Tag Cut. During his work hours, he used that. On the days he went to church, the Methodist church, he smoked a cigar. Other times at nights, a lot of time he would smoke a pipe. My granddad had this chewing tobacco, and I got to stealing pieces of it, and I got addicted to tobacco. Loved it. The Faulkners pretty soon to do better. They sold and bought a farm on Keller, right east of Keller, right in the edge of Keller. I don't know, 160 or something. They farmed that, and until they were fully retired at some age, 80s or something, they sold it. They bought a house in Riverside, and both of them retired there. It's Wiley Ray Hodges, a grandson of John Rayford and Serena Faulkner. Grandpa Faulkner had 8 or 10, a bunch of brothers and sisters. They didn't leave much tracts. The Census Bureau, really nothing. There's a couple of them there I was sight to remember. One of the daughters of John Rayford married a bouger in town. They had one daughter, I remember, Mary Jane. And he and his wife, the Faulkner, they had a washateria like during World War II. I don't know where they went, the daughters. The other one married a Steinball, and he had an ice route delivering ice to residents in the South Fort Worth area. And I remember those 2 things. They had another brother that I was known as Horace Faulkner, and he had a son named Horace Jr. They called him Dooney. He now lives in Keller here in 2016. And I don't remember much about any of the Faulkners except just that, and I can't find anything on all the rest of them. But nearly all of the Faulkners were born in Van Alstine or in that area, or come from Georgia and lived in that area. They didn't all come from Fort Worth, and most of them was a couple of them remained up there, but most of them came to Fort Worth and married various ones. So that's about all I know.